Greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads, and as always, welcome back to our Around the Hearth discussions. We have come to the final one for January Jumble, and this month has been kind of a jumble up of the different topics that don't fit neatly into themed months. We hope you have enjoyed it. We're going to be talking about items of interest this time. We have at least one particularly interesting one that Dan will be bringing to us. So stick around for that. Before we get into it, though, we need to do Dan's introductions and announcements. So I'll go first like normal, and then we'll do Scrat and then Dan for those introductions. So, greetings and salutations, travelers. I am Adam L. Spain with the Inn of Planar Crossroads. We are currently still working on getting, well, as of you seeing this, we're working on getting our webpage changed around a little bit. I might hold off to do any changes specifically on it until February, so this makes more sense. I don't know. Or well, then I'd have to do it in January to make it make sense in the February video. So I can't do that. So I'll do it when I do it. We'll get to it when we get to it. Okay? Okay? But
we'll do it live.
Eventually. Well, I'm not promising to do it live. So I can't do that. Huh. Different context now. You can check us out at innofplanarcrossroads.com or theiopc.com. Either one of those works. YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, or Twitch for videos. Twitch not so much right now, but maybe in the future if we do live streams or something. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook for reaching out to us and stuff. Twitter/X, I gotta fix that. And then subscribe to our Patreon, Locals, PayPal for reaching out directly if you don't want to do any of that signing up stuff. That's all options if you want to support the Inn of Planar Crossroads. And that's mainly what I have. So, Scrat, what's up with you?
I am Scrat from Squirrel Plays. I am over on YouTube. And I like to make videos about TTRPGs. Do a lot of indie TTRPG reviews for the lesser known things. Get them out there. Things... EZD6 isn't exactly lesser known at this point, but that was one I did. Tricube Tales, Fathom will be coming up. We mentioned that in the last episode. Venturous, I don't think anybody had heard of that one, so that's fun. I get to experiment with all that, and then when I'm not doing TTRPG reviews, because those take a long time to do, I talk about the more creative side of TTRPGs, like world building, character building, magic systems, and all that good stuff. And I like to approach it from a writing perspective because, ta-da, it is what I do. And maybe I'll have a new book in a couple more months. We'll see. But
you've heard it here, chat. You've heard it here.
It's going to be a minute. But anyway. I like to approach it from that perspective because there's a lot of overlap between the two, and it's important to know when you're writing a story and when you're playing a game because there are some differences, and it's good to know when you find those differences and being able to decipher them and figure out what works best for which one. But it's a fun thing to do. I've enjoyed it. Good community so far, mostly.
Yeah, all right.
99% so far. Get a sour apple every now and then. It's all right.
Well, call me Granny.
That's all I got.
All right.
Nice.
What about you, Dan?
I'm Dan from Avenue Studios. You can find us on YouTube, Rumble, anywhere you listen to podcasts, and of course, avenuestudios.media. We are in the in-between in January, because we will have wrapped up our DC-20 campaign. We'll be getting ready for our Roll for Combat's Battle Zoo Bestiary campaign in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So hopefully you can join us for that maybe in February. Check out our VOD from Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo, where we live streamed a DC-20 one-shot with some cool guests. And of course, check out our merch store for fun shirts. And watch the live streams so you get in on the inside jokes.
That's right.
And
You know, Kristen
we
does
got-
have some good one-liners in there.
she was on fire for this game too, but she nails the one-liners. And I'll shout out, if you haven't seen it already, we're, as of recording this one, we'll have possibly done a couple of Scratter days. So we got Magical Land of Yeld, Tales from Elsewhere, Peter from Tales with Elsewhere. You can see him on Around the Hearth. What month did he do? Was it October?
It was
Whichever the
Neolithic
Western one
November.
was.
Neolithic
Oh,
November.
was it
that's
the
right.
caveman?
Yep.
Is that what he showed up for? Oh, well,
Or did
never mind. Don't listen to
Yeah.
me.
No,
I don't
it's
know
fine.
what I'm talking about.
It's also confusing because we, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Yeah.
So check that out. Well, I'm really excited for that. It looks like all of us will be on that. So, we'll see. Tell us, comment below if I am accurate in that and we all showed up. But that's
We
it. I'm
all know
really
what's going to
looking forward
happen. Mustache is going to go down in the comments and say Dan was not accurate, whether he
Yep.
was or wasn't.
Anyways, hope to see you there, wherever there is.
All right. Well, I'm trying to decide for Scratter Days if the theme song is going to be Scratter Day, Scratter Day, Scratter Day, Scratter Day. If it's going to be that,
That's pretty good.
or if it's going to be Scrat Fever, Scrat Fever. He knows how to roll 'em. I don't know.
No, it's going to be Hallelujah. It's raining scrats.
It's
Or it's raining nuts.
Scrat.
How about that?
I don't know if that'll come out right in the if you actually sing that. That word could get confused with something else. That could, I don't know. So
It's raining nuts. We'll go with that one.
There you go. Oh,
it's
that's not
rain.
bad.
Oh, then you have a frolicking squirrel just frolicking.
You can use
through
the
rain.
clip from the Ice Age when Scrat's running through there in
Yeah.
heaven because he died or whatever, and it's just nuts everywhere.
and then they
forgot
bring him
about that
back.
one.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I wanted to die. All right,
Got it all
Well,
figured out.
we'll figure it out.
I don't think I'll have it ready for January 4th, but as soon as I can,
Get
I will
on
have it.
Can't you just pump out a parody with full production like that, Dan? What?
You won't let me use those creatures in the computers, Adam.
Yeah. That's I can't
I'm
help.
teasing.
I can't help that you can't use those.
No, as I'm sitting here doing day job work while we talk about RPGs. Speaking of multitasking.
All right. Well,
Can
that
you guys
has
tell
been
it's our
us.
last chat?
Last chat
Yeah.
is usually pretty silly, which is appropriate. Before we get into last chat, though, we need to actually get into our Levi's shout out. So, Rolling Stag has been our shout out for this month. Hopefully you have been enjoying. He's obviously going to have come out with something after we've already done this. That won't be his most recent one, but you can check him out. He has 258 subscribers at the moment with 29 videos. Check that out. Go over there. We're trying to get him to 1,000, and you can leave in the comments that Dan from Avenue Studios, Scrat from A Squirrel Plays, or Adam from the Planar Crossroads sent you. And it'll work out. We'll have him tagged too down in the description, down in the doobly-doo if you want to just get a quick click over there.
Woohoo.
That's what we've got for our shout out, which means we are done with Dan's introductions and announcements. We are done with Levi's shout out. We are on to Kane's conversations. So pull up a chair, join us around the hearth, grabbing your preferred beverage as we discuss items of interest. Skull.
Skull.
Oh, hey, I still got tea.
Me too.
I thought I was out.
But I think I've drank a lot more tea than you have.
You
It's like almost half
You
a gallon.
crushed it, man.
Yeah, my bladder is telling me I have too. So, we've got
I have
something
my
to
own
get
type
into,
of
though.
tea.
It's,
I forgot to tell you the story. So bonus content for next time.
all right, so we have to remind
fine.
Dan.
I'll forget
at the
but,
end.
Yeah. Comment
Well-
below, mustache.
So we can have that be the comment if you guys want. Dan forgot the bonus content.
That's good. I like that.
There you go.
But and now
that's tentative because I'm pretty sure we'll come up with a few one-liners as we go through some of these. So
that's probably true.
That's tentative for right now. So there may be a bonus point one later. So I think we discussed beforehand that we were going to do an item. These are all about items that you can we're taking them from media or some other thing that we like or found interesting. And
that one was my fault. I'll take it.
I wasn't going to say until it was my turn.
So, otherwise, and we brought them in and kind of have an idea of how to use them in a TTRPG. It doesn't require a stat block, but if you are putting some understanding of how to use it in the game, it's kind of the idea. So, let me see. That's for mine. We have this disc, which you may recognize. It is a disc from Tron, specifically the second Tron that came out, as that Chakram disc, which does have some influence on another one that I wanted to bring forward, but we'll let this one stand by itself. This particular one is set forward by Great Mustache, who's been mentioned at least twice during these videos. He called it, his conversion of it is called the Soul Disc. He says there are two versions of this disc that exist. The more powerful is forged with the intended user present. Some say literally forging their soul into the disc itself. The second, still potent, but not as powerful, has special runes to allow it to bond to a user, half the runes leaving the disc in order to imprint on the user to bond them together. Users have to be careful, as their soul being imparted or bonded to the item means if someone gets a hold of it, they may be able to find out secrets of the person or even damage them through the disc. It's rare for a user to allow the weapon to leave their presence. The fact the disc can be summoned from great distances helps them not to lose it. But there are stories of discs being captured and the soul tortured for information. I think this specific kind of plot point comes from Tron itself, where those are imprinted with the user information. Is why that is. So, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's been a long time since I watched the first Tron, and I haven't watched the second Tron, so.
I don't know if I have either.
So, technically, I have seen it, but I could not tell you anything about it.
I could tell you something about it. They're in a computer. But
honestly, I couldn't even have told you that. I don't remember anything.
Okay. Well, we're going to continue and say. So the weapon stats for this one, or the idea for stats, it's a melee weapon that serves as a sharp blade. That's that you're seeing on the screen. It's ranged. It slashes through targets and returns after, so it can be used, as he's pointing out, in melee or ranged. The glowing outer edge is actually soul energy spinning at incredibly high speeds. Since it is the soul energy of the user, it does not cut or harm them. How convenient, he puts in parentheses. But that's a good way of, that type of a thing is a good way to include a reason why it's not slicing your hand open when you summon it back to you. So,
right.
Due to the nature of the energy, it can affect incorporeal beings as well. There are rumors that entities which might consume or absorb souls are poor targets for this weapon, giving a weapon a weakness. Not a bad idea. It has a point of power blast. A user can channel their being into the weapon, holding it out in front of them, letting the energy build before it lashes out from the center. This greatly drains them in the process, but can hit a wide swath of enemies in a line, kind of like a dragon's breath line. Those who are forge bond instead of rune bonded can even make the line bend at 90-degree turns to find a path, leaving a wall of burning energy behind them for a short time. And if you know Tron, that's an allusion to the bikes, the light bikes. All right.
Good sound effect.
Okay. I like this one I like this one a little bit. I like that there's an in description explanation of why it's not just slicing the hand open, which has always been one of my qualms about the chakram design. So any kind of remarks you guys got on this one?
It has a anime-ish feel to it, where it becomes part of the world and like being your soul, you're actually extending yourself out. I could see a lot of fun world building to go off of that.
Mm-hmm. And it might be fun to, if you're going to have this in your system, play around with the idea of inheritance of those things too. Mm-hmm. Or if it even functions for anybody else. That could be a question.
Cool. There's little things you could do too, like the color. That's really fun. Either you're rolling for it or it's somehow connected to your character, because it's your soul being expressed in some way. Chromatically, I suppose.
Well, it is a weapon that actually is designed off of a real world weapon called the chakram, which is from India. India has Vedic traditions, so you could do chakra colors, and wherever their dominant chakra is, so red for the root chakra all the way up to violet for the crown chakra, I think it is. So
yeah,
the
that's
path
cool.
towards enlightenment.
I didn't know that's where those were from.
Yep.
I learned something.
That's right. Hang around me long enough, some random fact will come out that you don't know.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Adam's like a box of chocolates.
A fountain of useless information. That's
Hey, it's kind of useful.
how I have been described before. People I used to work with.
He put you down the well, but he's in there too with you. Yeah, I think that's really cool. It could also be with the colors, like you're saying too, Adam. That's showing how powerful somebody is.
It could be,
which could be interesting.
Well, it would also allow, if you're going to do something like that, that it would allow tiers through the system, because the idea is it might also allow you to change the elemental typing if you want to do that way. Right. You're drawing from different sources of yourself. So you could do things like that. So, thumbs up, thumbs down, what y'all think? Worth including in a game? Okay, thumbs up. We like this one all right.
It would be how much do you want, because I think it could heavily influence the world if you wanted it to, or it could just be something fun. So,
well, anytime you do soulbound or anything involving soul magic, you do kind of have to address necromancy in your setting. Because that is soul magic.
Ooh. Some necromancers found a way to use other people's souls.
Not that a certain necromancer would do that, in a bomb squad setting.
That'd be crazy.
But, yep, this one's pretty good. I like this idea, and I like where it's going. So, now who's next?
Do we want to do the abomination, or do we want to ease our way into it?
How excited do you feel? You want to have?
I could go. I have a couple, and I didn't know because I didn't know how fast we'd go through this. So, I guess the first one, and this was actually Glee's idea, so I can't take all the credit.
Cheating.
Yeah, she suggested, I don't even have the name for it, it's just Echo's time device from Arcane / League of Legends. I don't think anybody in this call and nobody in this house where I'm at has played League of Legends. And
I have. Actually,
oh, have you?
There he is.
Have you?
I like Thrash, but I don't play the game. I played the games a few times.
I have zero desire to do that to myself. So
You gotta remember, I was there when it came. I was there when it was new.
so was I, and I didn't like it then either. But Joe, well, so I guess spoiler warning. We're gonna get into some spoiler territory here. If you want to watch Arcane, consider yourself warned. I will tell you, watch season 1 and then stop, because season 2 was just an accident, and we're all still trying to figure out what happened. But in season 2, Echo says, since you've played the game, is this, I'm assuming, an ability? He has some kind of time ability in the game, or was he even a character at that point when you played?
He wasn't a character at that point, but
Okay.
I assume that he has a after image ability or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess. So he gets this thing in the show, and it allows him to go back. It's either 3 or 5 seconds. I can't remember what the limit is. He goes back, and he knows he goes back. Like, he's aware that he jumped backwards in time. Nobody around him knows that, if I remember correctly. But like, if you were, and they even show this towards the end, like he's trying to save the day, getting in a fight, and he's like getting punched and everything, and he can't get to somewhere in time, so he rewinds 5 seconds or whatever to try again. But like, he doesn't recover from those wounds, so he's just getting beat up over and over and over and over.
Interesting.
Meanwhile, everybody else, rewinds, and if they were getting hit or something, they wouldn't feel it. They would recover from it. So,
Cost of magic. That's cool.
yeah, and I think that'd be kind of neat to use that in a TTRPG. Not too sure how it would work. It would probably work better if you were playing a system with an initiative system built into it, like D&D or something. Everybody takes their turns, they have a turn order, and to get any use out of it, I guess it would have to be something that you could use in 5e's terminology as a reaction, I think is the right word. Something you could just pop off whenever you want during that cycle of turn order, and you could just basically undo somebody's turn. But you'd have to, because if you just undid their turn, they just do it again, right? So you'd have to undo the bad guy's turn and like somehow have the option to put yourself in harm's way or something, or whatever it was you're trying to do to rewind time for. And I like the idea. It'd be really neat if this was some kind of tanking ability you could do. You're like, I'm going to undo this guy's turn because he just smacked our healer, and I'm going to put myself in the way and take that damage. And since you're rewinding time, you still feel everything, so you'd be gradually taking damage if that's how you used it. But
Right.
it's a interesting concept. I guess you could also be the guy that checked for traps too, and just rewind time.
Let's hope you don't hit. Let's hope you can react fast enough for that fireball trap to not kill you.
Yeah. Or all the rocks fall, and you're like, oh no, rewind.
So it's kind of a lot like trying to incorporate the Prince of Persia dagger.
So I haven't played that game. I know what you're talking about. Completely forgot about it until you brought it up. But yeah, that had some time shenanigans in it, didn't it?
Trying to incorporate that is tricky. You're right. I think that in Open Legend for this one, you'd probably mix movement with nullify and use those two attributes. Movement for moving around, if that's what you want to do, or nullify to nullify the effects of an enemy's turn, of an enemy's ability, rather than to actually tank a hit. Open Legend could let you do it flavor wise well enough. I don't know,
because I'm almost thinking, to me it seems actually the general mechanic is not too difficult. I can think of a couple of things. What I would struggle with is the offset, like you're saying, Scrat, because immediately I think Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder, it's an ability as a reaction. You force someone to re-roll a save roll. It could either be enemy or player, or you can force a re-roll basically at any time. But it would need to be a certain number of times a day or something like that, or a spell. But it wouldn't have that fun. What I'm struggling with is, what's the fun mechanic for taking damage? Maybe you can't do it for yourself.
I was saying, in the show, if he goes past that 3 or 5 seconds, whichever one it was, it starts destroying everything around him. It warps reality too much.
That's fun.
I think
I don't know. That was my first thought.
Well, if you're wanting to stay in the theme of the time magic, there are spells like Time Stop and stuff like that in Pathfinder. Pathfinder 1E for sure has them. I don't know if 2E's got it incorporated yet, but Pathfinder 1E definitely has Time Stop. And the way that they did it there was you stopped time, which may be the only way to fully incorporate everything that this character is doing. Because during Time Stop, you'd have to be kind of loosey-goosey with the rules of Time Stop. But in Time Stop, you couldn't actively attack someone. It would break the spot. It would break the seconds that you're holding. But you had a round or something like that, depending on how powerful it was, I think, where you could set the battlefield up and then restart time. So that's a way you could work the time aspect. This is one of the ones that doesn't work well in going back to our discussion of systems. This one might not work well in a mid-range system. This one would work well in a very loose system, or a very smooth system, or a very crunchy system. But so the smooth system would allow you to build into the rules that would work best for the theming, or a complex system would allow you to have the rules in place already around time magic.
I say, if you could mentally keep up with the entire battlefield, since generally the encounters, one whole turnout order is about 6 seconds, right?
Right.
It would be neat if you were at the end of the turn order and that whole turn order just went south, like the dragon came out and blasted somebody and this other guy died and yada yada, and you're like, okay, undo all that, let's try again.
You just take it, but every game you're in, you just take a picture after when each round starts. Click, just in case.
Yeah. And then you just...
That's interesting.
It would be neat. And it's like, okay, well, maybe if we move over here.
Right. Ooh, man, that's interesting. But
that would be so hard to keep up with, though, if you had like 5, 6, 7, 8 bad guys on the map and a party of 5.
Right.
Well, with a screenshot or a camera on your phone, it's not hard to necessarily keep track of the board state, but it would slow down combat for sure. And that would be the time
device would slow things down. How ironic.
I was just thinking that. Now, the fun thing with that idea is that it would maintain, like, everybody else gets to reset, but your character does not gain back hit points.
Right, that would be... Effects. It wouldn't be a get out of jail free for you. It's, nope, I want to save my teammates. So, and now, Dragon comes in and blasts everybody, and you're like, okay, it's reset, but I'm still hurting.
It could be interesting for, like in DC-20, they have the commander class that Eddie plays in our campaign. that would be an interesting feature ability for the commander to have, because it's already built to help tell people to do things. So if a round went and then you use your feature ability to reset, now the commander, now the meta player and the character now has an idea of what's going to happen, and so that could be an interesting.
I suppose if you were going to flavor things around, you could re-flavor, like you're talking about, the entirety of the commander.
That's fair.
And he's not a commander necessarily. He's just a guy that's rewound things to have this happen.
Right.
So if you're willing to not engage in it as using the actual time portion of it and have that just be flavor, then maybe you can use some like command mechanics, or what are some other things repositioning mechanics, stuff like that.
Any kind of interrupt action.
Mm-hmm. If you're willing to do that mental thing for it.
Right. I'm very comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I know not everybody else is.
Well, Scrap presented a pretty good one to give us a little brain teaser.
Yeah, that was fun.
The other one was an Elder Scroll, but I think we're on good pace here. So
Everybody goes mad.
Man.
Don't read it. Bad idea. Unless you're the Dragonborn, then you can just read anything.
That's true.
Just open it right up. Just because.
Plot's got a plot,
cool.
man.
Yeah.
All right, so thumbs up, thumbs down. What y'all think?
I actually say thumbs up because I'll try anything. It's it's like what Adam said. I think flavor wise you could do it no problem. It's not easy though. I am intrigued by it though. So should I ride the fence?
I'm gonna ride the fence because I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, this is one of those things. Cool idea, but it ain't gonna work.
Yeah. It'd be tough. If you were the problem is time magic is so powerful when you really start to put it into situations.
It's why a speedster would be like the ultimate superhero. Because it's stupid.
Yeah, it's speed. Depending on which version of Superman you get, he's just as fast as the Flash. But
right.
Any speedster would break a world. Just period. So, it'd be tough. I'd say a maybe. It'd be a heavy maybe on how the player wants to play it out. But I'd be willing to work with someone in that.
Yeah.
All right. So that is Echo's time device. Now,
monstrosity time.
Monstrosity.
Okay.
There it is, players. There it is, people. The triple sword or triple bladed sword or whatever it is.
The tri-sword.
The tri-sword. Is that what it's called in the show?
It's I don't think it's ever mentioned.
They don't even name this weirdo weapon?
No, it just comes out of nowhere. So this is Scrat's fault, but I love him. He's like, somebody has to do this. And of course I was like, nah. All right.
I said somebody got to do it, and it ain't me.
Yep.
So I watched the movie. Yeah, they never give it a name. It's not the mustache was making fun of me for audience members for not having seen it before because I'm the film student. Yeah. I kind of see why I didn't see this one. Like some of them I'm like, I should have seen, but this one.
Well, y'all keep talking about it. I've drank too much tea. I'll be right back. But y'all keep talking.
I will throw out the other funny part of the movie too is that it's like iconic, right? Like it's beyond iconic. Nobody else has this thing. And the bad king still doesn't realize it's the son of the king he killed. How do you not know? He has the three-bladed sword.
That looks just like that one guy's. There must be two.
I thought it was going to be this really big deal, and it's just... Anyways, that's just bad writing, but it was hilarious. It's 80s film. I don't recommend it because there's a lot of nudity. I'm just going to throw it out there. 80s nudity.
So it's highly recommended.
Yeah. Whatever floats your boat. But, man, this was a struggle. Because realistically, it wouldn't work at all. Oh, and it shoots, so the side blades shoot off.
That's the best part.
That is actually a legitimate cool thing. So here's my initial thought, and we can play with it for a little bit. But that it's a tri-blade, and I'm gonna go with an aspect that I have in my homebrew setting is that it cuts body, mind, and soul. So each blade cuts differently. Now the physically 3 blades are there, so that you can still have the stupid button and shoot the blades. But so one blade can only strike the body, one blade can strike the mind, one blade can strike the soul. And
Okay, I didn't know that about it.
no, that's me totally.
I was
No. In the show, it's
Okay.
just a 3-bladed sword, and like
Okay.
Mustache said, it's 3 blades, so it hits 20 times as hard.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to think of what could be, because obviously, like laws of physics, it doesn't work. It's because you're just spreading your force multiplier across 3 blades, so it's just dumb. And also, it would actually be unwieldy. And if it actually can fire off, like it's not actually the side blades are technically not attached to the hilt. 'Cause they
Yeah,
can
there's
shoot.
no tang or nothing in there. This is
It's so funny. But so yeah, Adam, my twist was to say maybe the 3 blades can. I was thinking each blade cuts body, mind, and soul, and that's why you have the 3 on there. So when you're striking, you actually can hit those 3. So it's one is like a spiritual blade, one is some kind of like psionic type blade, and then depending on where you are, you could focus in and we'll still, because it's magic, you can still shoot the blade.
so.
Like,
Hang on now. Let me jump in here.
yeah, go for it.
Grimwood Games' game, Dave's game,
Ironbound.
Ironbound.
Yeah.
It has those 3 pools. Each blade
an
is one.
excellent
This would
point.
be like a killer boss to fight. If he hits you with all 3 blades, it damages all 3 pools.
That's a really good point.
That would be
Or
neat.
he can choose to shoot and he's targeting
Yeah,
one,
like he could
right?
shoot the blade and do triple damage or something with that one shot, but now he can't.
Now he
damage
can't
that
until he
pool
gets
anymore.
the blade again.
Yeah.
That's a really great point. I didn't even think about that. That's
Yeah.
fun. And that can work. There's a lot of different systems that have different defenses, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's what I got.
That's what Open Legend has 3 different defenses.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So if he hits on any of those 3, he gets a hit.
Yeah,
what
I
you're
guess
saying?
so. Yep.
One roll that would save on rolls.
Yeah, because Open Legend has effectively the defenses are damage reduction. That's the best way to think of them. So
And it hits
yeah,
the lowest defense.
right.
Might work. I mean, it's a silly blade anyway.
It's
If you wanted to make it more serious, I suppose you could make it where it kind of looks like there's 3 blades, like the blur spell. And as you swing it, the blades kind of track behind, 2 other blades track behind the first that's there, type of thing.
Yep.
Just make it a lightsaber. 3.
3 lights. There we go.
Then we're just making
technically
lightsabers.
That would work then, because you're not looking at actual force, right? So you're just adding more lasers.
More lasers. That's the solution. Add more lasers.
I had more lasers.
But there's no lasers to start with. Shut up.
I am plasma, whatever. Yeah. I don't know if you guys had any other thoughts. What was I think that
No,
was
I
really
like
it.
the body, man, and soul thing. That's
Yeah.
each blade doing something. That's really cool.
I don't know. I was toying around with making it more embracing the meme of it. If I was going to have to take it, I'd started to toy around with the idea. Okay, it crits on a 18, 19, 20, but it whiffs on a 1, 2, or 3.
Oh, that's interesting. Just all in.
It's an all-in weapon.
And then as you lose the blades, those numbers go down. So then it's a 1 and a 2 and a 19 and a 20.
Yeah, they have to
That's
be
pretty funny.
reattached. I was just going to meme the weapon up. But, if you're taking it seriously, you know what Dan's talking about.
Unbelievable. I don't know how serious it was. Just trying to make it pragmatic. Yeah, so anyways. Watch Conan the Barbarian instead, or whatever.
I mean, I watched Conan the Barbarian just because. So.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Body, mind, and soul. The Tri-Sword.
It's got... Your iteration of it has some cool ideas. That one.
Thank you.
There you go. So... so Dan's version of the Tri-Sword. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
It's good.
Thanks. Thank you.
I think it's all right. I'd allow it, especially if it crit or failed on a 1, 2, 3 slash 18, 19, 20.
That's a really funny idea. Because he does randomly break 5 guys' swords with it. But why he doesn't break why he duels a guy and doesn't break that guy's sword, I couldn't tell.
He was more important.
Yeah.
See, he couldn't get the 18, 19, or 20. He got a 2 or 3, 1, 2, or 3. Yeah.
Oh no, Adam's right. Also, he was crucified and then pulled the nails out and then fought with the sword. It was great.
Wow.
It was something else.
It's something else, all right. All right.
Anywho.
Well, this weapon had
That was fun.
This weapon very much had last chat energy. So
yes, it did. Thank you, Scrat.
Anytime.
That's an alternative comment for today, this one. Last chat energy.
Yes, that's a good one.
All right. So does that mean we're to me?
Well,
Yes, sir. Oh.
What's the bonus content you keep talking about, or is that after the episode?
Oh yeah, it's after the episode.
Oh, okay, never mind.
All right. You'll just have to wait, travelers. You'll just have to wait.
Like a long time.
Yeah, it'll be a long time. I have so much bloopers and outtakes material.
It's really fun to see, dude.
It's years. All right. So that means we're to mine. And for those of you who know anything about 80s and 90s, well, who are alive in the 80s and 90s and watched any fantasy shows, you probably watched, at some point, Krull. And Krull has the glaive. It's not an actual glaive. Those are pole arms. But it's called the glaive. I don't know why they did that. Would have been cooler to call it the Starblade or something like that, because as you can see, it is a golden, rune and jewel encrusted. It kind of looks like a starfish whose arms are slightly curved, and out of each arm's tip has a blade. It is actually a pretty neat weapon if you take your in-universe stuff with it. So my idea is the glaive from Krull. You would use the same type of damage if you're using damage dice like Pathfinder 2e or something, Pathfinders or D&Ds. You would use a star knife or a discus or a chakram as the damage dice. If you're not, you would just use it as a ranged. You can have a melee component, but I would have that do less damage than the range, especially since there's no real reason to be up close and personal with this weapon necessarily, because it has certain components. So it starts with a basic idea of returning on command that's kind of limited. You have to have enough, as demonstrated in the show, you have to have enough will or some kind of power to draw it back out of something if it's stuck too hard. So that's something to think about. It has retractable blades for transport, so you could actually carry it around without hurting yourself. There is telekinetic control, and the better you get with the more proficient you are with it, the more control you have over it. So if you throw it once, it does not have to come back to you to be thrown to re-hit something. It can be controlled to go back and hit again. It responds to owner or master. It doesn't just respond to anybody. And it's demonstrated in the show to disintegrate a certain tier of evil creature, I think it would be the way to describe that. So the peons of the bad guy, his grunt enforcers, are disintegrated by the use of this weapon. It can grow. I would suggest that you would have it grow along with the player. It's demonstrated in the show to be able to grow, or at least be able to damage things larger than you would think. So this, the beast character is very large. It's a giant compared to the humans, but this human throws it and it appears to maybe grow, but not necessarily. It does damage to this thing in a way that something that small wouldn't. So you can have it do that. And it can, I would give it, at its highest tier, the ability to shoot laser beams from the blades. If you hold it out in front of you, like on the, let me see, I've got the poster right here. If you hold it out like the poster, this is never in the movie, but if you hold it out like the poster, you can shoot beams of either light or holy energy. I would go with radiant energy because it's supposed to be a legendary weapon. So I would go with some kind of holy or radiant energy to destroy things. And let me see, tiered powers can keep things, just as a general rule, tiered powers can help keep things that are legacy items like this relevant through the whole game. So you can have something over a whole campaign if you tier out those abilities. So it may start with basic throwing, returning, and then as the player character grows, you would get more and more abilities unlocked because of your character growing, not the item changing. Your character grows into the item and then is able to use it more and unlock more of its potential. So,
classic anime with a sword sort of thing.
Yeah. It also means that you won't have a legendary item at level 1.
Yes.
So,
that's a really good point.
So, that's kind of my idea for this.
I like it. It would be cool with the telekinesis, like you're saying, to level up to the point where you're just like making it fly around you the whole time and it never has to come back.
Yep. Well,
it's like level 10 version.
Addie asked me, "Are you gonna make it like the whistle? The whistling needle on
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy." I was like, "No, I wouldn't make it like Wandu's thing." But then I watched the show again, or watched clips of it when he was using the glaive. Actually, I was like, it does kind of behave like that, but you don't need to whistle to do it. So, I would allow it used that way. I would allow somebody to go or ricochet and stuff like that.
I like it very much as you level up and stuff. You need that power and that connection with the weapon and time spent with it to get to that point.
This is making me think of the Master Sword from Link. It's kind of how it works in those games. You get stronger, sword gets stronger. Well, some of them. Some of the games are like that.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
It could be unique too that depending on how the story goes, how you level up your character, it might look different with different characters too. That's another fun thing. You
Get spikier.
Yeah.
Depending on the choices you make.
You want more spikes on it? What are we talking
More
about?
spikes.
More.
More edge.
You're looking to be an edge. You can't be an edge lord with a golden frilly thing, man. You need something that's dark and grim, dude. And it's like,
he's the edge
claws.
lord. I don't know. That's really funny to me.
Hmm.
I am the edgelord. I mean, you hang out in the corner of the tavern? No.
Just all edge.
All edge.
So that's when you hand him a chakram and you're like, okay, you're all edge and no point. Got it.
Oh no, that's so good. I'm too slow. I got it.
All right.
That was really good, Adam.
Well, now you have a setup for your game there. All right, so this one, thumbs up, thumbs down. What we thinking?
I think thumbs up.
All right, thumbs up it is. Okay. Well,
You're stuck with it.
well, it'll stick in all right.
You had him.
All right. Well, we hope you have enjoyed, travelers. And this has been a jumbled up January, and it's gone okay, I think. So next month is Fantastical February. So Fantastical February, we will be doing some normal theming. We'll change up our theming as we usually do in March, but after that, any kind of updates that we do to programming will be done, as I said before, just as we do them. And I will let you know before that. I will let you know the month before any kind of changes happen, probably, because we record these a month ahead of time. But that is what we've got. So yes, remember to check out Rolling Stag. It is 258 subscribers, remember? So we're getting him up to 1,000. That's the plan. Tell him that Dan from Avenue Studios, Scrat from A Squirrel Plays, or Adam from the Interplanar Crossroads sent you. And we would enjoy to have him get up to 1,000. Scrat, of course, is from A Squirrel Plays on YouTube. Dan is from Avenue Studios. And I am Adam from an Interplanar Crossroads. We hope you have enjoyed, travelers. As always, have a great day. God bless and enjoy. Bye.
Bye.
This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.
Okay, Dan.
It's not.
What's the
It's
bonus
not even.
content?
It's not even a good story now. It's like let it hang too long. Also, my dog is just sitting here licking her groin. So there's your bonus content.
Well, we can't see that, but it's good that you let us know.
Her no. Hopefully my noise canceller hides it. She's so noisy.
It did.
Good. You don't want to hear it. I was gonna joke, but I thought I'd save it. I love my Manhattan that I make myself because I used to be a bartender for a while and stuff. But when we were at PAX, Dave took us to a bar and stuff, and I'll always order a Manhattan and try to watch how they make it, and that's how I decide if I like it or not. Like the bar.
He didn't even taste it. He just orders it, doesn't even taste it. It's like,
I'll drink
No, I
it.
don't
I
like
mean, I'll drink it regardless, but I'll judge it.
judging you.
The one time I get judgy. I will tell you, if they don't use actual cocktail cherries, it's not. It's fine. They used maraschino cherries in this. It was not that
You're
great.
always judging Manhattan, though.
That as a Western New Yorker, yes, I am. I saw New York City from the ocean once, and that was close enough. But yeah, I watched this girl put it together, and I was just like, I make a way better one. Just why do I even go anywhere? Their food was amazing though. That was some killer food. Dave got fried chicken and fries, and we were all like, because you order fried chicken and fries, you know what you're ordering. That was what we were joking about. But it was, oh my goodness, the color on the crisp was amazing. Anyways, it was just I was ogling his chicken and fries.
What was the name of the place?
Oh dang.
Wasn't
What
Gus's
was it?
Fried Chicken, was it?
It was no, it was Irish, which is even funnier. Some random
Guinness's fried chicken, I guess. Yeah.
Man, I'll have to look it up. It was like, I'll have to ask Dave. McCorney's or something like.